Hey, what's up, everybody? Anthony Sevens back again for another, I guess you could say, a little TED Talk or Tony Talk on depression and anxiety. Today, we're going to be discussing, 7 years later, because I think the last time I posted a video about anxiety and depression was several years ago, and today I kind of wanted to come back and revisit this. Now, the topic we're going to cover today is, how do you deal with depression and anxiety and dealing with your friends, dealing with, your everyday life. Now, for those of you who don't know, I have been bipolar 2 and I've suffered from severe anxiety and depression for going on 46 years of my life. But it got really, really, really bad for me probably about, 6 or 7 years ago. After my friend had taken his own life. And then a couple months later, my grandmother died, and then my stepmother died, and then, a few iconic celebrities up to died all in the same year. And just out of nowhere, my brain just snapped. And I went from being the most sociable person on the face of the planet to just being a homebody. Not a shut-in, a homebody. The difference between a homebody and a shut-in is a homebody is someone who enjoys staying at home all the time and would prefer to stay at home all the time when opportunity strikes. But a shut-in is someone who just cannot face the world and they barely ever set foot out of their house, and it makes things difficult, when you got to work or this or that, and you just can't do it. Now, I'm what they call a homebody. So this is all per, my experiences that I've experienced over the past several years, and, a lot of psychological evaluating of myself as well as other people. Now, results may vary, I'm sure that depression and anxiety attacks many people in many different ways, and some harder than others, and some, on just, I guess you can say, occasionally. But for me, it's a day-to-day thing. I think I deal with a bit of depression and anxiety every single day to many different degrees. On top of that, I also deal with a medical condition called IBS. I also, as I stated earlier in this, I'm bipolar 2. So I got a lot of shit fucked up in my head and my body. And, it's just something that I've been trying to roll with. So, how do I get through life? How do I maintain friendships with people? Because it's like, deep down inside of me, I want to be the social butterfly that I used to be. I used to go to bars. I used to go to my friend's house. We used to go to fire pits in the backyard. And nowadays, everyone's like, what the hell happened to you, man? So it's like, this is kind of like my mentality on it. So when it comes to anxiety and depression, or any kind of conditions that keep you inside or away from people, you have to keep in mind, this is a part of who you are. There is no cure for anxiety and depression. There are many tips and tricks and medications to help you survive through it. And some days are going to be absolutely worse than others. Some days you might feel like $1,000,000, right? I'm sure you've had those days you wake up and like, damn, I feel good today. I think I'm going to go, walk to the local McDonald's or something, and you do it, and then you come back home and you're like, yeah, I did something cool, but, and then there's just other days that it just hits you so hard that you almost don't want to get out of bed. But let me tell you something. This is who I am. The anxiety and the depression, it comes with me. Will I ever get through various things and whatnot? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe our brains will flip back to something else somewhere along the way. Maybe you need a change of life, or maybe you need a change of work, or maybe you need a change of friends and stuff. The first thing that I did was I got rid of a lot of friends and distanced myself from a lot of family. Now, I know that doesn't seem like the most awesome thing to do, especially if you're one of those people where it's like, blood is thicker than this and family. But you know what? A venomous person in your life is going to be a venomous person. Think about how much shit you deal with up here as it is, in your mind, in your body. Depression and anxiety are nothing but stress at all times. You're stressed out. The world has got the best of you. And no matter how strong you are or think you are, you just gotta fucking roll with it, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta roll with it. But I have lost a lot of friends to this, to my mental health issues, over the past several years. And it just simply comes down to, and I may have stated this in other videos, it comes down to the fact of, if you've never physically and mentally dealt with anxiety and panic attacks and depression, then you absolutely cannot know what it feels like and what it does to somebody's body and mind. I mean, could you imagine waking up and feeling like $1,000,000? You're like, yes, today I feel great. Then out of nowhere, bam, you're just like, fuck, man, I'm tired. I can't breathe. I'm having a panic attack. I don't want to go to the store today. I don't want to go to work today. And it hits you like a ton of bricks out of nowhere. Or I like to say, it's like a ninja jumping you in a dark alley. And you didn't even see it coming. You didn't even expect it. It just happens. And it messes you up so badly. Anyways, a lot of friends kind of got to the point of, you know what, dude, we always come over to your place to come visit you, and you never come out by us. I don't understand. I never understand. You're a shitty friend. You're a terrible friend. I've been told that I've been a terrible friend because of my mental health. I've been told that I'm egocentric or narcissistic because of my mental health. Have you ever gotten put down because of your mental health? Because when you're dealing with mental health issues, right? All right, there's something wrong inside of you. And it's like, no matter who you were before, no matter who loved you before, no matter who wanted to hang out with you or not before, you have to recalibrate all of this. You have to readjust your entire essence to suit the needs of your life. That's one thing that I figured out that I had to do. I had to get rid of or distance myself from venomous people and sometimes venomous family members, or just people that stress you out in general. And in doing that, okay, you're not eliminating every problem that you've ever had, but you are, when your mind is loaded with stress and you take some of that stress and you push it away from you, okay, and you get those things out of your life, those elements that piss you off, stress you out, or upset you out of your life, I started feeling loads better. Because then it was like, okay, these are things, issues, people, and sometimes it's even places. It's not necessarily always people you have to get rid of. Maybe it's places you used to go to. But once I started eliminating all of those stressors out of my life, I noticed a huge improvement. And you know what? I have to take the hits. When people call me a shitty friend, or you don't visit, or you don't do this, or you don't want to go out anymore, I have to just be like, I know. That is who I am now. This is who I am. And this is what I have to deal with. And this is what I have to recalibrate and try to figure out. Because it just seems like no matter if you have depression or anxiety or both, it's always a quest. Always. Over the past 7 years, I feel every single day, 365 days per year, it is a quest to figure out, what can I do to feel better? And you will do anything to find those answers. Getting rid of things, or maybe bringing elements into your life that are going to make you feel better. I know I've explained before, like bringing a mass amount of joy into your life, the things that make you happy, the keeping around the people that severely make you happy, or people who are encouraging, or places that you can go to where you feel very, very comfortable. That's what you bring more into your life. And when you can adjust out with the old, in with the new, vice versa, man, it's a game changer. It's a game changer because it helps to free up your mind to be able to think about, okay, that's out of the way. Now what's next? That helps a bit with my mental health. Now what's next? How can I feel better? How can I get better? And ever since the last time I was on YouTube, I started seeing a therapist. I've frequently visited my doctor from time to time, sometimes a few times a month for the past several years. And, I'm always trying to discuss with my doctor or my medical providers. It's like, this is what I'm feeling. What could it be? And then they're like, here's some pills. And I'm like, okay, I'll give these a try. Sometimes those pills work. Sometimes they don't. Again, everybody's physiology and the way that I am versus who you are, pills are going to react differently to each of us. So as individuals, we need to find out what works best for us. For example, I have severe IBS that I've been dealing with since the beginning of time. And I take these pills called dicyclomine. And dicyclomine helps slow down my digestive tract, and it makes me feel loads better. Makes me feel a little high from time to time because it's one of those pills that they're like, you take it and don't drive any vehicles. But it does help slow things down. So that in and of itself has made me feel better. And then I take another pill called lamotrigine, which my therapist prescribed. And lamotrigine takes some of that, all around panic and anxiety and brings it down quite a bit. And I've noticed a huge change of improvement with that. And then I'm on another medication that specifically targets the physical reactions of having panic attacks. Basically, what all these medications do is they make you tired. Because you think about it. If you're all like, oh my God, like, oh, I'm freaking out today. What do I do? What do I do? Panic attacks, panic. When you take these pills, it calms your mind down. It makes you kind of sleepy. You're like, oh, I don't give a damn what happens today. And I mean, that might not be the best idea because I found myself sitting at work at my desk, typing, and then finding myself dozing off from time to time. And that's the pills, man. That's not me. I'm not a lazy worker. I don't like to be lazy at work. I got shit to do. But when I'm sitting there, doing my thing and I'm dozing off, I'm just like, time for an energy drink or something. Sometimes I need that little pep in my step or that little kick in the ass. But anyways, again, it's taking the time and having the patience to figure out this is what's wrong with me. And, you can't change life per se, but you can change you and your habits and the way you do things and the way that you think and the people or places that you go to or hang out at. And, you have to think about that. What is stressing me out? What are some of the triggers? Like when I walk under that bridge, I get triggered and I start having a panic attack. Well, then don't walk under the bridge. Find a different route. And that's what it really is in life is, everything in your life, finding a different route so that you can exist in the world. Now, when it comes to having friends and loved ones and stuff like that, I used to be so afraid, like especially early on, like why these people don't want to hang out with me anymore, or I don't want to hang out with them anymore. Like, what do I do? How do I get through life? And some of you may be asking, well, how do I find love? Who's going to want all of this baggage? And it really is about accepting it first and foremost. Not saying that you shouldn't fight it, not saying that you shouldn't try to find a solution for various things in your life, but you have to accept it. This is a part of who you are. It's like my lungs inside of me. If you marry me or date me, it comes with these lungs. And the same thing with my mental health, all my other issues. That's what comes with me. And the best thing to do, the best thing ever to do when it comes to friendship or romance or anything is get that out of the way first and foremost. Be like, I like you and I know that you like me. However, I'm not going to play any games or put on a mask or a facade. This is what's wrong with me. This is what you're going to have to deal with if we're in this for the long run. Again, friends or love. This is it. And, believe it or not, when you're upfront and honest with people about things like that, normally they'll tell you right away. They'll either say, yeah, I don't want to deal with that. I can't deal with it. It's too much. I got my own shit going on. I don't need to bring another person. Even though I like who you are, that's too much weight on my shoulders. And us, no matter how much it hurts to hear that kind of rejection, we have to get to a point of acceptance. Like, I understand where you're coming from. I understand that you don't want all of my baggage in your life. It's nothing that you can deal with. I get it. I understand it. And you have to respect it. You have to respect other people's decisions. Now, can it be a little bit depressing? Yeah, sure. But this is who you are. There would be nothing worse in the whole fucking universe but for you to put on a mask and get involved in a relationship or a friendship, and you're leading people on to make them think that you're way cooler than you actually fucking are, and then you get into the friendship or relationship, and then that friend goes, what the fuck is wrong with you? I wasn't aware of all of these issues and problems. This is not something I want to deal with. And then it becomes a more uncomfortable situation and a more embarrassing situation. And you never, ever, ever want to put yourself through that. Let me tell you, man, even when I meet new friends on Facebook, and some of them come to me and be like, wow, dude, you seem like a really awesome guy. I don't put myself on a fucking pedestal. Hell no. Because I got a lot of shit wrong with me up here, man. And that if you want to stick around and be my pal, you're going to have to understand who I am and where I'm coming from on things. And some of you might be saying, well, it's nobody's business, really. Well, if you want people to be a part of your life, logically, you want people to know who you really are. And I guess someone who deals with all of the shit that I deal with, and maybe you deal with, we tend to be attracted towards like-minded individuals that seem to understand where we're coming from and our perception on life and how we choose to live. But still, it doesn't mean that, oh, I'm damaged, you're damaged, we're compatible for each other. Because you know what, my damage you're going to be completely different from your damage. And your damage might be worse, my damage might be worse. And it's about, can you handle it? Can you take it? Because let me tell you, I've met people where they're like, dude, you seem like a really fun guy. We really need to hang out sometime. Do you drive out to the city? And I'm like, nope, I don't. I have a really bad traveling anxieties. I'm lucky to make it 20 minutes away from my fucking house. And that other person's like, damn, that's disappointing. But they understand my situation. And, to my unfortune, this is a person who doesn't travel far either. So how the fuck are we ever going to hang out? Probably never. I'm probably going to never meet that person physically. So that's what I'm saying. It's just like, just because you're both damaged doesn't mean that everything's going to work out and you're going to be bestest of friends. I mean, you could be. Keep it a Facebook, online type of friendship, relationship type of thing. And that's fine. Trust me, I think like 90% of my friends are all messed up in the head. And, we all talk to each other, like real people. I got people calling me like, Tony, I'm freaking out. And I'll call people like, hey, I'm freaking out. I just need someone to talk to, someone who understands me. And it's tough. It really is, folks. Okay. Anxiety and depression, everyone, a lot of people, they think like, oh yeah, if you take some pills, you'll be fine. If you breathe, you'll be fine. If you put yourself in this and that, and people want to try to tell you, but again, everybody's different. I've tried the breathing thing a million times, and it works in a pinch. I've had the breathe. I've had that work quite a few times, but it all comes back down to, at the end of the day, first thing when I wake up in the morning, you know what I'm looking forward to? Coming back home at the end of the day. Because I'm very fortunate that even with as severe as all of my medical issues are, my boss is completely understanding. And, there are days where I lock myself in the bathroom for extended periods of time because I have to. Not because I want to. I have my own office, but because of my medical issues, I'm back and forth, here, there. And it makes it hard for me to do my job. However, I'm blessed and fortunate enough to be one of those people who does deal with all of this shit, and I'm still able to hold down a full-time job. That's what I'm saying. I'm not a shut-in. I'm a homebody. But again, when it comes to friends and love, those other people need to understand, that this is who I am. I'm a homebody. I cannot be with anybody. You have to set your own regulations. The kind of person that I want to spend the rest of my life with or be best friends with, they can't do this, and they need to understand this. And like the first thing that I say is like, obviously, I can't be with somebody who wants to travel around the world. If I can barely make it 15, 20 minutes away from my fucking house, what makes you think that I'm going to hop on a plane and fly to the UK on vacation? It doesn't make any sense. And people are like, well, how do you deal with being at home? Isn't home really, really boring for you and shit? And it's like, excuse me. No, it's not. I decorate my place. I mean, as you can see, I got skeletons and candles, all kind of, I decorate the shit out of my place so that my home life is fun. There's never a time where I sit around my house and go, I need to get out. I'm bored. I'm going stir crazy. Because I design my home, my place of Zen, my fortress of solitude, to be a place that is so much fun and so Zen for my mind that I never have those kind of issues. Like people are like, I need to go to a bar. Hell no. I've got my own bar here. I put in a bar so I don't have to go to the bar. I put in a movie theater screen with the projector so I don't always have to go to the movies, but I can still have these elements in my house that I normally would enjoy before all of this bullshit, and you make your living environment fun. So, but again, back to what I was saying about friendships and love, it comes to the realization of this is who I am, this is what comes with me, and you have to be upfront and honest, and the other person will tell you. And sometimes the other person, surprisingly, be like, dude, I completely feel you. I understand. I'm the same way, or I've been through the same things, and it's that relatingness with other people who are also, I guess, loosely speaking, damaged on the inside. Building those kind of friendships are great, but unfortunately, even on that wavelength, there are sometimes, even as someone who deals with things like that, somebody comes along whose depression and anxiety are 1,000 times worse than mine. And sometimes when you're dealing with people who are, off the chain, it triggers something inside of us. And even for someone who's damaged, it's difficult for us to be friends with those people because it's just like, oh my God, that person is a trigger for me. I'm freaking out because that person's freaking out that much more. And sometimes it can drive you nuts. But sometimes you will find those friendships and you will find those relationships where people are just like, hey, we groove together, we're a couple of peas in a groovy pod, and it makes you feel good. I've met friends and stuff that make me feel good to talk to because of how accepting that they are. I had a friend, let me give you an example. And this was about 2 years ago. When I first got my job working security, I had to go for a drug test. I had to, and I only had 24 hours to get it done. So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm freaking out, going like, I don't even have like a week to prepare for this, man. I just got to go. And I remember I called up my friend and I'm like, can you come pick me up and take me to the drug test? And then I had to lay it on her. I'm like, but driving with me is going to be a pain in the ass. I don't mean to be a pain. It's just how my body, my mind reacts. Oh yeah, no, cool. I got you. Whatever you need, I got you. So she borrowed her husband's truck and we hopped in and she was talking to me and trying to distract me and keeping the conversation flow positive. And we made it there. And I was like, yes, I made it. Because we always got to congratulate ourselves whenever we do something, even if it's small. Like, yes, I made it 20 minutes away from my house. Time to pee in a cup, and now it's time for the drive back home, And I'm thinking, I'm going to freak out again. And, we had to stop off once. But overall, it was a successful trip there and back with very, I underestimate myself sometimes. And I think a lot of us do. A lot of the times I think it's the anticipation of things that freak us out because we start thinking about, well, this could happen and this could happen and this could happen. And what happens if we get stuck at a light or a train, or what happens because I'm with a friend, I'm going to embarrass myself. I'm going to embarrass my friend. So you think about all that. And before you even leave your damn house, you're already giving yourself 50,000 panic attacks, right? So, it's just sometimes we gotta take a step back. We gotta think about the logic of the situation. That not everybody is going to like us as a person. Not everybody's gonna love us as a person. And all of the bullshit that we come along with, not everybody's gonna be acceptant of that. And you can't beat yourself up. We beat ourselves up enough having all of this shit, but you can't be discouraged. You got to give yourself like a pep talk or something like, I really like this person, and I hope that that person likes me back, and I hope that that person is accepting of me. But I understand if that person isn't going to be. I have to just accept it because you can't change all of this. Unless you're the kind of person that does get it under control. I'm not saying that there's no success rate at getting shit under control, but there's no cure. There's no cure for depression and anxiety issues. There's no cure for it. There's just things to keep it at bay so that you can live life a bit more comfortable than you already are. You want my advice? If you're dealing with it so bad, get a therapist. But at the same time, the therapist is no guarantee because the therapist is not you. The therapist does not have your mind and your body to know exactly what you're feeling and what you're going through on your levels. Therapists maybe I used to have anxiety for a while, but you deal with anxiety. So obviously somebody who deals with this much anxiety doesn't know what it's like to deal with this much anxiety. And it tends to pose a problem. But sometimes you do get a person who gives great advice and is willing to listen to you, is willing to talk to you, and you just go with it. And sometimes people do find that balance and that qualm in life. But anyways, that's all I got for you. Just remember, be true with yourself, and above all, be honest with other people. I have had so many conversations with so many different people about what I deal with and even the most graphic details of what I deal with. And sometimes you think, well, it's TMI, too much information. But let me tell you, when it comes to getting to know somebody or wanting to be friends with somebody or even wanting to be lovers with somebody, there's no such thing as too much information. Because let me tell you, I would rather know everything about you now than for it to be a negative surprise months from now, years from now. It'd be like, you have one leg, but you play it off that you're not missing a leg. And then, 2 years later, you're just walking with your friend or your loved one and your leg falls off. And your friend's like, what the fuck, man? You never told me that, about you. I'm kind of pissed that you had to keep that a secret from me. I'm understanding of you, but you felt that you needed to lie to me and pretend and, all this other shit. I never, ever want that to happen. I'd rather be like, hey, what's up? Yeah. My name's Tony, and I'm pretty messed up, and I got a lot of shit going on in my head and in my life and in my body. So it's like, if we want to ever get close and be like cool ass pals and stuff, this is what you're going to have to deal with. And sometimes I get somebody that's like, I deal with the exact same thing, Tony. I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's the best feeling in the world. And some of you may even be listening to me now like, damn, this motherfucker talks a lot, which I do. but I go through the exact same shit or sometimes similar shit. But, I make these videos, not to be famous or get any hits or anything like that. I get these videos because I need somebody to talk to. And when I do this, it makes me feel like I'm sitting here having a one-on-one conversation with you, which it kind of is. You know, if you're watching, you know, you're here with me right now and you're listening to me talk. And I don't know, maybe to some people out there, I'm full of shit. I don't care, you know, because this is who I am. These are the things I deal with. And whether you hate me or you love me, whatever, you know, you do your thing. If I'm not the kind of person that you like, and this should be your mentality, if I'm not the kind of person that you're like, go be with somebody else that you do want to hang out with or that you do like. But, you know, if you don't mind having a nutty friend who deals with a bunch of bullshit, then hey, man, you know what? Let's go skipping down this yellow brick road together in the quest to find the Emerald City. And, you know, we're going to be like Dorothy and the Scarecrow and a Tin Man all rolled up in one, skipping and singing some crazy songs, and trees are going to be throwing apples at us, and witches are going to be throwing fireballs at us. And that's how crazy it can be up here, you know? Like I always tell people, it's living inside of my head is not a fun place. You know, even though I'm happy, like right now, I'm smiling, I'm talking with you, whatever. Up here is not a fun place. But you got to make the best of it, man. You got to keep pushing through. You got to keep moving forward. You know, and you hear that all the time. Like it's like fucking Rocky. You got to keep moving forward, you know. That's how winning is done. And, you know, it's one of those things that you have to. Even if it's moving forward, just taking one little tiny step at a time. Every step forward counts. Every step. Even if it's a little shuffle and scooch. Every little step forward counts. Just be real with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Be real with people out there. And you know what? If your destiny is to be alone for a while, you know, because people don't want to hang out with you or you don't want to hang out with other people, then so be it. Then take what you have, take you, take your life, take your home, and make it as fun and as positive as you can. Like seriously, take a clipboard and a piece of paper and a pen and write down a list. Shit that makes me happy. McDonald's, collecting toys, collecting Pokemon, you know, throwing a Frisbee out my window, and then just go fucking do it. Just go do it. Why? Because they are the things that bring you joy. They are the things that make you feel positive. And then you write another list. Shit that pisses me off and that's negative. This way it's like, you know, you're kind of reminding yourself what to stay away from. Shit that's going to trigger this or that. Or you're making the list so that you can kind of look at everything from a bigger perspective, right? And you're like, okay, this pisses me off. How am I going to, you know, try to adjust or solve this one issue? And you take everything one issue at a time. And you start, you know, okay, I can't go visit this person, you know, often, but I'm going to see if that person would rather come visit me, you know, and maybe meet up for coffee that's not too far away from the house, you know, things that you can tolerate and deal with, you know, and that's pretty much, that's exactly how I've been able to survive over the past 7 years, several years, with, you know, severe anxiety and depression issues. It is a constant battle. It will never end. But you just got to find all of the right elements to help. You know, instead of this, you got a nice, cool, flowing wave, because this right here is better than just chaos all over. So do what you got to do. You can find me on Facebook if you want. Just look under Tony Sevens. And yeah, man, good luck with everything. I'll keep you guys posted as time goes on. I'll come back for a little more of these talks from time to time. And until we meet again, take care of yourself, take care of each other.